My talk, Follow the Yellow Brick Road, begins with me asking all of you a question. Do you all love, love, love The Wizard of Oz the way I do?
Oh, yeah.
And have you watched it year after year after year, like I did?
And more.
Well, that wasn't a good answer, because I didn't like The Wizard of Oz. Sure as shooting, I'd sit there and watch that year after year and ask myself, why am I watching this? You know, all I could see was Off to See the Wizard, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And I'd say, why am I watching this? I could go wash dishes, I could wash clothes, I could mop the floor, I could find anything to do. But sit there and watch them go off to see the wizard. But, you know, after a while, after some years of soul searching, like Sun Dragon, I asked myself, why am I watching this? And I don't have to, I'm not duty bound, nobody's paying me to watch this, so let me find something else to do or watch or, you know what, go to bed, something. Well, fast forward years later, and I had graduated, you know, going on to nursing school, got married, had a child, and I was doing home health, and I absolutely loved to do home health. I just loved it. I loved going into people's houses, taking care of them. I just loved it. But this one day, I was extremely tired. I don't know what was wrong. I had seen 3 patients that morning, and I had 3 more that afternoon, which was not a heavy load. And they were not severely injured, sick patients. But for some reason, my energy level had just really been depleted. I could hardly move. And I was driving around trying to think of how I could let these patients know that I couldn't make it. Because at that time, I did not have a cell phone. And I'd already called them the day ahead and let them know what time I was coming. So I really didn't have a good way of getting to them, and I didn't really feel secure driving the way I was feeling. I was just really depleted. And so I was driving along, and I thought, well, maybe I could pull over and take a nap. But then I thought, that's not the best thing, because it really wasn't safe to fall asleep in my car. And I wasn't sure I'd wake up in time to go see my patients. So I thought, that might be the only thing I could do, you know, just pull over somewhere and just take a nap. Well, I was turning the corner on Lindbergh, and I heard, follow the yellow brick road. I hadn't thought about that phrase in years. I had not even thought about it in passing. It just followed the yellow brick road. And as I turned the corner, I saw this long line of women separated neatly. It was pre-pandemic, so it wasn't like they were 6 feet apart. They were close enough, you know, to communicate with one another front and back. But they had this neat line going. And they were just laughing and talking and having a good time. And I thought, what in the world is going on over there that everybody's having such a good time? They were still in line, but they were talking front and back and just laughing and having a great time. And so I thought, well, if I pull over there, I can take a nap and I'd be reasonably safe. So I pulled over to the side of the building, and I said, well, you know, I'm going to see what they're laughing about. What's going on here? And so I got out and I walked towards the head of the line, and these same people who were laughing and talking told me, no, you're not getting in front of the line. You get back there, you have to go back. You can't go just jump in front of people like that. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm just trying to ask you a question. Oh, no, you got to go to the back of the line. I thought, God, you know, these people were nice a second ago, you know. So I just kept walking towards, you know, further back, and I got about midway, and they did the same thing. I guess they saw me trying to sneak up front. And they said, no, you got to get in the back of the line. You don't just jump in front of people like that. That is so rude. said, I was just trying to ask you a question, you know. So I went on back to the back of the line. I'm thinking there might have been about 30 women in that line. So I got to the back of the line and I told the lady in front, or one of us said that, you know, you take your life in your hands if you try to jump in line. You know? They will not let you get in front of them, and you know, these people are kind of mean up there, you know. But anyway, she and I started laughing and we started talking about how dangerous it was to jump in line in front of people. So, okay, we started laughing and chatting about that, and then a lady got behind me and she joined in the conversation, and we were just talking back and forth, and after a while, somebody else got back at her and they started, you know, we all started talking, and the line moved up and I moved up with the line. Somebody else said something, the line moved up, I moved up with the line. After a while, we were having such a good time, I didn't really care why I was in it. I just kept moving up with everybody in front of me. Midway the line, I kind of got to thinking to myself, you know, I really don't know what this line is about. But I don't think I care. I think I'm going to stay right here and enjoy my time in this line. So we moved up and kept going and going. And man, I was having a ball. You know, I wasn't tired at all. I was just having a ball. We were just laughing and talking about family, friends, you know, our jobs, the weather, anything. And so after a while, when I was about the fifth person to the front, I thought to myself, you know, maybe I should find out why I'm in this line. So I tapped the lady in front of me and I said, why are we in this line? And the lady looked at me. She said, you don't know why you're in this line? I told her, no. And so she tapped the lady in front of her and she said, she doesn't know why she's in this line. And they looked at each other and they kind of looked at me. And I was standing there grinning, you know. I was still having a kind of a good time, you know. And they said, we ordered honey-baked hams. And we're all here. We paid for them, and we're all here to get our honey-baked hams. I said, oh. I said, okay. But she said, you have to have paid for this ham before you can pick it up. You know, you can't just come in and pick it up. I said, oh, okay. So I guess they thought I was going to get out of that line. But I didn't see any reason to get out of it because I was having a good time there, and I felt like, hey, I have as much right to be here as anybody else. I started from the back of the line. I would stay right here. And they kept looking back at me and waiting on me to leave the line. I kept smiling. And I gave my best Forrest Gump grin. And they kept watching me, and they'd say something to each other and look back at me to see if I had left. And I was still laughing and talking to the people behind me. So after a while, we inched our way up. And when the two of them got to the front of the line, I just turned around and told everybody, it's been a wonderful lunch period for me. I've enjoyed talking to all of you. I got to go back to work, and maybe I'll see you later. And I turned around and went back to my car. And I'm sure those two ladies were watching me all the way. They probably wondered, you know, what was with me. But, you know, I had a great lunch. I really did. It was the end of my lunch time, and I had a great time. When I went back to see my patients, I was in a terrific mood. I was energized, I was happy, I was invigorated, I was everything they needed me to be when I got there. This is the thing. I think over the years we hear things, we have our own phrases for what the yellow brick road is, and it might not be the Wizard of Oz because I guess I had to watch it all those times to figure out there was a space for me when I needed it, and that I carried this space with me. But not only did I carry it, everybody else did. And so I was sent to a place to be revitalized, to be energized. God gives us what we need. We don't necessarily get what we want. I wanted to sleep. I needed to be out and around people and to feel their spiritual energy. I needed to share mine with them. We were all a brick in that road. And we all bring with us all we need, and we share with others what they need. Now, the reason those ladies were so belligerent when I tried to get in that line was because deep down they knew I needed the fullness of that line. Anywhere I broke in there would not give me the completeness of that journey. So I needed to start from the back. And everybody else did too. We all needed to get from back there to get back there and move our way up and to feel the fullness and the energy that was a part of that yellow brick road. And the fact that they were there to get a honey baked ham, they thought that's why they were there. But actually, they were there to see the wizard just like I was. Just because it was a honey baked ham didn't make a bit of difference. The wizard wasn't what anybody expected to be when they got there anyway. So it's not always what we think we're going for, and it's not always what we get that we need, but there's a space for us. And sometimes when we're at the lowest point, if we can just figure out what our slogan is and follow that slogan to that honey baked ham or to that wizard or to whatever it is we need to get, it's there, it's waiting. But sometimes it seems so ridiculous. Who in the world would be standing in a line not knowing why they're standing there except Marvene? But that's not the first time I've gotten in a line that I didn't really know why I was there. Sometimes I thought I knew, but what I got was so much more than what I thought I was going to get. Like the time my husband and I dressed up and went and got in a line at the Fox to buy tickets to see a production, and found out we were in the free line and got in for free. And used that money to go get us a dinner. I can't tell you exactly how many times I've walked, but now it's gotten to the place if I see a line and everybody's happy, I get in that line. Now, I'm taking this quote from the 72 Names of God, which I read daily, and I find it interesting. But this one is called Recapturing the Sparks. And they say, I am going to stop the darkness and remove all destructive forces. I tap into the positive forces in the universe and open myself up for transformation. I will reclaim my sparks of life, breaking judgment, embracing love, and spreading light to others. I feel the sacred sparks returning to my soul and filling my vessel. I thought that was going to be the last thing I was going to say, but I do want to tell you this story that one of our mentors told me. She spoke of a gentleman who was in severe pain, and he had so much problem with it he could hardly work. His joints, I guess, arthritis or something. He could hardly work, he could hardly move. And someone came to him and told him, there's a lady who's a healer, and she's back up in the woods, and you have to go and see her. She will not come to you. Well, the man didn't have much money, but he took whatever money he could gather, and he took time off from his job, and he made the trek to the railroad station. He got on the train, he rode the train for ever so many hours. It was extremely painful for him. Well, he got to the place where he got off the train, and then he had to go into the woods, which was a serious trek for him in the amount of pain he was in. He got to the lady's hut, and she was out in the yard weeding or doing whatever she was doing, and she had her back to him. He tapped her on the shoulders, she turned around, And he went on to tell her all the problems he had, how much pain he was in, how much money it had cost him, how long he had had to come, and how he had had to take off work just to see her. And he went on to continue to tell her about all of this pain, all of these problems. And then he stopped and waited for her to give him the solution. She said, "It ain't so," and turned back around and went back to weeding her garden. Well, this man got so furious. All of that time, all of that money, all of that effort, and here, this was the only thing this woman said, and then she completely ignored him. Well, he started back to the train, and he had to go back through the wooded area, and he had to get back to the train, and just as he got near the train, it suddenly occurred to him, he didn't have any more pain. Sometimes when we take that route that seems ridiculous, that's the perfect route for us.